I've owned Horizon Zero Dawn for years, and somehow I've never played it. But after finally sitting down and playing it start to finish and earning the platinum, I can't believe I waited this long. Horizon Zero Dawn is one of those games that's been sitting in my backlog forever. I bought it years ago, told myself I'd get to it one day, and then life happened. New games came out, trophy hunts started piling up when I became a trophy hunter, and Aloy's world kept getting pushed further and further down the list. But recently, I decided enough was enough. I wanted to finally experience this world that everyone kept telling me was such a masterpiece. And if I was going to do that, I was going to go all the way for the platinum. And honestly, I'm so glad I finally did it. From the moment I stepped into the wilds, I realized why this game hit so hard when it released. This world feels alive: overgrown forest, frozen mountains, deserts filled with machines ready to tear you apart. The story is packed with mystery and emotion. Aloy is one of the strongest protagonists I've probably played as in a few years. And the combat, man, the combat brings thrill that you just don't get in many open world games anymore. Every giant machine feels like its own boss fight, and earning that platinum meant learning how to take down every enemy with precision, planning, and just the right amount of chaos. This wasn't just another trophy hunt for me. It was a chance to finally experience a game I should have played a very long time ago, and one that absolutely lived up to the hype. Getting this platinum felt earned, satisfying, and honestly kind of personal. After years of owning it, Horizon Zero Dawn became one of those "why did I wait so long" games. And now that I've explored every corner of this world, I'm glad I didn't put it off any longer. Now, real quick, if you have no idea what it is, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is the enhanced PlayStation 5 upgrade of Guerrilla Games' award winning 2017 action RPG. A game that marked a massive shift for the studio, which had been previously best known for the Killzone series. Set hundreds of years in the future, the world of Horizon blends tribal culture with high tech remnants of the fallen civilization. Humanity lives in small, scattered tribes throughout this world, while massive mechanical beasts roam the land like the predators and machines of the world that we previously knew. You play as Aloy, an outcast of the Noro tribe, who grows up determined to uncover the truth behind her mysterious past. Her journey takes her across different territories of rival tribes, ancient ruins filled with lost technology, and hunting grounds where some of the most dangerous beasts in this game await. What makes this world so unique is the contrast: natural beauty intertwined with futuristic devastation. Wildlife replaced by machines designed for a purpose humanity no longer remembers. The remastered version enhances that experience with the upgraded textures, smoother performance, and improved lighting, in a world that feels even more detailed and alive. But at its core, the heart of Horizon remains the same: a story wrapped in mystery, filled with emotional twist, and supported by one of the best combat systems in modern open world games, in my opinion. The mix of stealth, traps, elemental attacks, and weapon variety makes every encounter feel tactical and intense, especially when you're diving into the bigger machines. For trophy hunters, Horizon Zero Dawn's Platinum is known as challenging but fair. It focuses on exploration, hunting machines, and completing side quests, and mastering certain weapons and uncovering the deeper lore hidden in the ruins of the old ones. It's not overly grindy, but it does push you to experience almost everything the world has to offer, which is exactly what makes this platinum feel so rewarding. By the time you finish it, you don't just complete Aloy's story, you feel like you lived it. Now, I recently finished the platinum on Maneater, which was one of those games that I just threw in there just to essentially cleanse my palate, but I kept going back and looking at the Horizon series, and I knew I needed to finally try this game. I decided to pop it into the PS5, and I looked up a guide on PSN profiles, and this normally gives me a rough estimate of how long the game should take. While looking at the guide, it said that the game should take roughly around 40 hours. But let me tell you, it took significantly longer than that. Now, before I get further in, I have to be honest, and I lied. I said I had never played this game before, but that's not completely true. I actually have about 86 minutes logged into this game on Steam. It was one of those games I deemed that I knew I would like it, but now was not the right time to play it, so I basically put it into my 600 game backlog on Steam and said I would come back to it at some point. Well, I recently picked up a copy of the remaster on Macari because I got it for a pretty good deal, and like I said, I threw it into the PlayStation and decided to jump on there instead. But starting off the journey, we're introduced to a young Aloy who has no idea who she truly is or where she came from. All we know is we have Rost as a father figure and protector. We fall into a massive hole in the ground and find a focus, and we put it on and realize there is so much more to this world than what we know. We managed to make it out of this cave that was built by the old ones. Later on, Ross decided he needed to teach us the basics of hunting and how to survive within this world, and after completing the tutorial and saving a random boy who fell into a large group of machines, we got the first trophy of the run, followed Ross's teachings. After this, we had a cutscene where we were greeted by a bunch of Nora kids, and they started throwing rocks at Aloy. One of them hit her in the head, and for the most part of this game, I opted for the smart responses, so I knocked the rock out of the kid's hand. After that, there was a big time skip, with Aloy learning and improving on her skills for the next few years. until the time came for her to be eligible to run in the proving and have a chance at earning her place within the Nora tribe. But before the proving, I was sent on a few different tasks by Rost, and at the end, I needed to meet him outside one of the gates that would take us outside of the Embrace. But before I met him, I actually went and explored most of the map that you can this early in the game, and during this time, I managed to equip my first modification to a piece of gear, and I got the trophy, First Modification. Right after this, I managed to get my 10th stealth kill and got the trophy, Stealth Killed 10 Machines. After spending some time within the Embrace, I decided it was finally time to go meet Rost, where he sent me on a hunt for a Sawtooth. And up until this point, the Sawtooth was basically the apex predator and the hardest thing that I needed to fight. After setting some traps and nailing its weak points, I managed to beat it and I got the trophy, Defeated the Sawtooth. After winning this battle, Ross told me that I was ready for the proving. So I opted to head for the village, and on the way, I actually knocked off a component off of a machine, and that happened to be the 10th one, and I got the trophy, Tore Off 10 Components. After finally making it to the village, I managed to get greeted and brought into the village by one of the High Matriarchs, Tirsa. The other two didn't really like me. I did some cutscenes and finally got to the proving. After losing my first trophy piece and finally getting another one, I was dead last in this race, but all I had to do was finish it. But being the main character of this game, I decided to take the harder route and the harder path, which they said that no one had survived on before, and I actually managed to win the proving. And now this makes us a member of the Nora tribe and a brave. And with that came the trophy, Triumphed in the Proving. After this, a lot happens, the proving is attacked, and a lot of young braves are killed. As well as Ross saved Aloy but met his own demise. Also, Aloy was injured and they thought she wouldn't make it, but after awakening in the All-Mother Mountain and learning some things about where she came from, we were named a Seeker of the Nora tribe. This granted us the ability to chase after the attackers of the proving, and also was going to allow us the ability to figure out where we came from. Now the real adventure begins, and I can basically do whatever I want from now on. So the first thing I did was head to the first tall neck on the map I could find and made it to the top and accessed its information, and got the trophy, First Tall Neck Overridden. This was going to be one of those important things for me to do, especially early in the game. For some reason, I would really like to be able to view the entire map. I also managed to find my first ancient vessel left by the old ones, and I got the trophy, First Ancient Vessel Found. After completing some quests and side quests, I managed to reach level 10 and got the trophy, Reach Level 10. I also encountered my first bandit camp. Now, I really wanted to try to do as much stealth within this game as possible, so I actually failed the first 2 attempts on the bandit camp, and after trying for a third one, I kind of got tired of it and said screw it, and I just beat up the bandits in a straight up fight, and I got the trophy, First Bandit Camp Cleared. After this, I managed to get 30 headshots on humans for the trophy, Headshot 30 Human Enemies. Next, I managed to find the Nora War Chief, and I assisted her in some missions, and we managed to defeat the killers within the Ring of Metal, and I got the trophy, Victorious with the War Chief. After completing some more side quests, I decided to head over to the first corrupted zone that I had access to, and after clearing all the machines out, I got the trophy, First Corrupted Zone Cleared. I also managed to find the last reconnaissance machine I needed, and after defeating the Red-Eyed Watcher, I got the trophy, All Recon Machines Killed. I also had heard a rumor about a thing called the Cauldron, which apparently is where some of the machines had been made. I managed to override the core of the Cauldron after defeating the machines that were defending it, and I got the trophy, First Core Overridden. Now this basically would allow me to override different machines. After that, though, I managed to complete a bandit camp, which isn't really relevant or important, but because I completed the bandit camp, I now had access to a vendor who was selling all the different maps for the vantage points, metal flowers, and figures, and I managed to purchase all of those maps, and I made my way to the first vantage point of the game and got the trophy, First Vantage Found. I continued on with the main story, and on the way to the Karjan Gate, that was considered an exit from the Nora Valley, I found a corruptor and some other corrupted machines. So I managed to help the Karjans out, and after beating all the machines, I got the trophy, Fought Back the Corruption. I know I already said the real game started, but honestly, once I passed through this outpost, it felt like the real game did start here. There was so many new machines and other things that would try to kill me. At this point, I didn't really care about the main story anymore. All I wanted to do was explore this world. So that's exactly what I did for a very long time. I found my first metal flower and got the trophy, First Metal Flower Found. I also found another bandit camp, and I managed to perform my third strike from above and got the trophy, 3 strikes from above. I also had been using some Tear Blast arrows from one of the different bows and using them to basically rip off the weapons off of Sawtooth, Stalkers, and Ravagers whenever I would run into them. And after tearing off my 5th piece of heavy weapons, I got the trophy, Tore Off 5 Heavy Weapons. At this point, I actually prioritized finding all the tall necks, and after finding all of them and accessing all the info, I got the trophy, All Tall Necks Overridden. I also managed to reach level 25 during this and got the trophy, Reach Level 25. Now, this is where I decided I wanted to go back and find most of the collectibles within this game, because this was going to allow me to also explore the world. And I managed to find my first Banuk figure and got the trophy, first Banuk figure found. I was also completing all of the cauldrons I could up until this point. If I was going to pass by it, I was going to do it. And I managed to have access to overriding 7 different types of machines at this point, and I got the trophy 7 types of machines overridden. I finally decided to do a story mission, and I made it to Maker's End, and I learned about the story between Elizabeth and Ted, and I got the trophy, learned about the ancient past. Now, at this point in the story, I was getting a lot more comfortable with the combat, and I was finding a rhythm that worked for me with dealing with certain types of machines. One of the big issues I was having at the beginning was focusing on weak points and also managing to hit those weak points. So a lot of my fights were being drawn out, especially if there was more than 1 or 2 machines at a time. But once I managed to find that rhythm, I managed to also get the trophy for defeating all the transport machines. And I got the trophy, all transport machines killed. And I also got a trophy for defeating all the combat machines, and got the trophy, all combat machines killed. I managed to help Aaron find his sister, and we discovered the plot against Meridian. Thankfully, we managed to stop the plot against it and prevented the bombing from being any worse than it could have been, and we got the trophy, saved Meridian from its foe. After finishing that storyline, I found the last cauldron on the map, and I ended up going there and I managed to complete it and override the core, and I got the trophy, all cores overridden. Now I was done with all the different cauldrons. I also managed to focus scan every type of machine and got the trophy, all machines cataloged. I managed to go around and find all of the ancient vessels before continuing the main story and got the trophy, all ancient vessels found. I mean, like I said, I was really enjoying exploring this game. Even though RPGs and open worlds are normally my favorite genre of games, it doesn't necessarily mean I normally go explore everything, but for some reason with this game, it just sucked me in and I kept going and going and going. Now back onto the main story, I had met Silas, who was actually trying to help me with crashing the Eclipse's focus network, and we managed to do it and escape the camp when Hades attacked me, and I got the trophy, Crash the Eclipse Network. I also went back and completed all of the corrupted zones, and after defeating all of those corrupted zones and machines in the wild, I got the trophy, all corrupted zones cleared. I also found my 6th and final Banuk figure and got the trophy, all Banuk figures found. I also managed to defeat my 10th machine using a weakness against it and got the trophy, 10 vulnerable machine kills. I managed to find and help the Child King Idaman and his mother escape from the Shadow Karja, and when they made it to Meridian, I got another trophy. I went on and defeated the last bandit camp I needed and got the trophy, cleared all the bandit camps. I also managed at this point to reach level 40 and got the trophy, reach level 40. At this point, I was approaching the end of the main story, but I knew there was a trophy that required me to have certain side quests done before completing the final mission, in order to have everyone there to help me. So one of the big side quest lines I was missing was the Hunter's Lodge. So this is when I managed to go back to the hunting grounds and I completed all of the trials and got all Blazing Suns and got 2 trophies, Blazing Suns at 1 ground and all Suns at 1 ground. Next, I focused on the story for the Hunter's Lodge, and after gaining access and after the final mission, I got the trophy, Hunted Red Maw with Telena. I managed to discover the truth behind Zero Dawn and what was really happening to the world of the Old Ones and got the trophy, Discovered the Truth. I found out that the Nor tribe was actually going to be attacked by the Eclipse, so after deciding to head back home to the Nor lands and helping to defeat all the corrupted machines and breaking the siege, I got the trophy, Broke the Siege of Allmother. I went back to the mountain that fell, and this is basically where Gaia Prime was located initially, and I also discovered what happened to the cabinet of individuals that worked on the project with Elizabeth, and I also managed to earn myself a new weapon during this that would help me defeat Helis and Hades, and I got the trophy, Recovered a Powerful Weapon. At this point, I had done almost everything I needed to within this game, and I decided to continue on with the main story, and I started the final mission. After a very long and hard fight, I managed to finally defeat Helis, and finally putting a stop to Hades at the end, and I got 2 trophies. All allies joined and ended the war machine threat. Now at this point in the game, I was done with the main story, and I only had a few things left I needed to clean up. So I went back and found all the remaining vantage points, as well as all the metal flowers, and I walked away with 2 trophies. All vantages found, and all metal flowers found. I also went on to complete all of the hunting grounds and aimed for all of the Blazing Suns that I could get, and I managed to walk away with 4 different trophies during this whole thing. Blazing Suns at all grounds, all Suns at all grounds. I also managed to hit level 50 and got the trophy, Reach level 50, and I also unlocked all available skills for the trophy, All skills available. I did notice I had a hidden trophy, which was for defeating acquisition enemies, and I couldn't really figure out which one I was missing, so I just went on and actually defeated every single one until I realized I never defeated a Broadhead before. So after some trial and error, I managed to get the trophy, all acquisition machines killed. I also looked up a guide and found all 23 grazer dummies, and after knocking them all down, I got the trophy, down 23 grazer dummies. I will say I was only missing about 5 or so of these, since I had previously found most of them during my travels within the Norlands. There was some that I still couldn't find, and no matter what I did, I couldn't figure it out, so I did revert to finding a guide. The last thing I needed to do was acquire the Shield Weaver outfit, which I kind of regret leaving for last since I had to revisit so many different areas to find power cells. Especially since I will say the map in this game absolutely sucks when you're indoors. And it trying to help you find your way back was actually no guidance at all. But hey, thankfully I had just previously completed the main story like the last 3 to 4 days, so it was still pretty fresh in my head. So once I managed to find the last power cell I needed, I managed to unlock and grab the Shield Weaver outfit and got the trophy. Got the Shield Weaver outfit. With that, finally came the platinum. All trophies acquired. And with that, we were finally done. So what did I think of Horizon Zero Dawn, especially since I have not previously played more than an hour and a half? Honestly, I'm going to say it, this was probably one of my favorite games to this date. The world was absolutely gorgeous and such a joy to really just get lost in. I also really loved the combat. In some parts, it was extremely difficult, especially at the beginning. I was struggling a lot, but I managed to really learn more about the weapons and started utilizing traps, tripwires, and bombs more. And I think once I did that, I really got a hang of it and found my own flow, and it made the combat so much more fun. And I am so glad I finally got to play this game, and I solidified it with the Platinum Trophy on my account. Also, I finished this game on November 24th, and it is now December 11th, and I'm now writing and recording the script. Now, I still have some time in December, and I am hoping to finish Forbidden West before the end of the year, so that is currently my goal. But hey, it probably won't happen. You'll probably see the Forbidden West video next year at some point. But hey, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Thanks for stopping by and checking out my video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. Comment any games or series of games that you want to see me play down below, and I'll see you in the next one.